The Gauntlet on the Sideline Sports Network. It's your boy Denzel Snipes. It's another Friday night. Playoff season is here, both in college football. It's been in college football, but it's finally here in the NFL. And we are here to bring it to you live on the Sideline Sports Network. To my right is James Tatum. And to the right of him is Detroit Dom. Right below him is Soul Food JJ. And to the left of him is Ken Dog, Ken Whitley. So, how's everybody feeling tonight?
Feeling good, man. Ready for the playoffs. Ready for a great show tonight. And, you know, it's the best time of year. It's the best time of year in the NFL.
The irony that it's the Patriots fan whose team is not in the playoffs, yet all the rest of us are, as well as Tyler. One of these things is not like the other.
Hey, at this time last year, it was all of us and Tyler. Well, Ken wasn't here. Was all in the playoffs. It was like the first season of the Gauntlet where all of our teams were in the postseason. It was pretty crazy.
Jay, are you tired of watching your team play at 4:30 on Saturday?
We done our share of winning, so I don't mind sitting back and looking at things from a 30,000-foot view for a while.
No, I hear that.
He flexing the rings on you.
Hey, I see how it feels to be. I see how it feels to be bad. Finally, see how
I rest well knowing that we've beat Brady to get to our ring, and that Brady respects the Ravens when he played them. So I ain't tripping on them rings because I know that Tom Brady saw us in the postseason. And was like,
I sleep better. I sleep better knowing that we beat Tom to get our ring.
Right.
There's that too. There's that too. JJ knocked Tom out of the playoffs.
The Patriots lose, America wins.
And we gave Tom Brady his worst playoff loss in his entire career.
33-14 in the first
round. Love that.
You know the funny thing about that, and I know we gotta go live. I had a dream the night before that we would have lost the game. And then when Ray Rice broke the 80-yard run, I said, "Yo, we
on the first play."
On the first play, that was insane.
Ray Rice was the heart and soul of that offense, along with Anquan Bolden. I didn't even lie to you.
Well, we do have to get on to our first topic, and that's our brand new segment called The Blind Resume. Which player would you rather have? James?
So you guys got two options this week, two wide receivers. And here we go.
I'm just playing.
First receiver has 60 career games. 229 receptions, 4,085 yards, and receiving touchdowns, 21. Second guy, 63 games, 308 catches, 4,011 yards, and 27 touchdowns. Who you guys going with? We'll start with Denzel.
Well, I'm looking at this right here, and he got more yards in less games, but I'm gonna have to put it back up real quick.
Yeah, just leave it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. 4,011 yards and 4,083 ain't that far apart. More receptions, more receiving touchdowns. I'm gonna take wide receiver number 2.
Okay. And next we will go to Dom.
This is tough. I can't wait to hear who these two guys are. There's equal merits for both guys. Like the yards per catch for wide receiver 1 is obviously way better because he's he's got more yards on like close to 100 less catches, and the touchdowns are close. I think just to be different, because I don't think anyone else is gonna. I'm taking wide receiver 1. Less games, more yards. Yeah, going 1.
All right, JJ.
I'm gonna go with number 2 because I always have put an emphasis on can you score. At the end of the day, for me, he's got the same amount of yards. He's got the possessions. This kind of lets me know one is kind of more of an explosion guy, and the other one's kind of a possession guy. But the possession guy seems to be able to get more touchdowns. And for me, I always want to score. 7 points is the goal. I'll take that every day. So I'm going to go with number 2.
Kendall.
I'm gonna go with 1.
Any reason why?
Nope.
Okay, well,
This man literally
right.
closed his eyes and pointed at the screen.
Nope.
I
It's
don't
the
know if
way
I
he
should
said it.
participate. I don't know if I should participate since
You can. I did last
I'm
week.
the one that made this, so I know who the two guys are.
I think I
I
know
think
who
I know
one
who the
is
two
now.
guys are too.
All right. Are you guys? I will give you my answer after we do the reveal.
All right.
Are you guys ready for the reveal?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So wide receiver 1 is Deshaun Jackson. First 4 seasons.
Bro, I thought it was gonna be Devontae Smith.
And
Dirty. I thought A was Smith.
Devontae Smith. First 4 seasons.
That's who I was thinking about. Devontae.
So,
Damn.
I knew one of them was Devontae, but I thought it was Devontae and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
I like Deshaun Jackson, but I don't think he has anything on Devontae as a pure receiver other than he has the burners, he has the speed. Devontae creates his plays by making separation. He's better with routes. I like his hands. We've seen him make a lot of one-handed catches. Didn't see a lot of that from Deshaun. So I really feel good about picking Devontae in this scenario.
It makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think?
Catches, but more yards.
What do you guys think?
It makes a whole hell of a lot of sense, Dom. Not NFL related, but Devontae won the Heisman Trophy. So obviously he's no stranger to getting into the end zone and getting yards. You know what I'm saying? He just translated that to the pros. That actually was the crazy part about that is one of those guys was a wide receiver 1. D Jackson was wide receiver 1 at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah.
For a couple of years.
Most of the time.
Yeah, and Devontae's a wide receiver too. That's more mind blowing to me, probably.
I love Devontae Smith. Love him. I just worry about his usage because he is tiny.
Deshaun Jackson was tiny.
So was D Jackson.
Exactly. But
Deshaun Jackson
he was a much lower volume
Deshaun Jackson
guy.
has missed a lot more time than Devontae Smith.
Yeah, them hamstrings.
The more I've gotten,
Devontae has been relatively healthy.
The older I've gotten, the less I kind of put stock into this possible worrisome of a person's injury history for the rest of their career because medical advancements are through the roof. At the end of the day, I think a lot of that stemmed from the 90s and in the 80s when you had, the cocaine era, the 70s and stuff, the steroid eras. But it's like, this is different now. I do think that if a guy's had an unfortunate history, that it can change around. And I will say, I'll give an example now. J.K. Dobbins, when he was with us, had so many things going on with him. Now he had a pretty good season with L.A. and he's not gone. It's just things can turn around. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I believe as much stock into that. So Devontae in this league, yeah, being small or not, you can be all right.
Well, just to wrap the segment up, I really like Deshaun Jackson, but as an overall receiver, I think Devontae's the better player, and it's that simple.
Yeah, overall,
yeah.
I remember.
The only real advantage that D-Jax would have over Devontae was D-Jax could return, but that's it.
Yeah, that's
I think Devontae was kind of already more regarded than Deshaun. Deshaun kind of came out of nowhere. You know?
Yeah, Devontae Smith came into the league as a finished product.
He was a top 10 pick.
Yeah. Devontae Smith.
That was a good one. I was not expecting Deshaun Jackson to be the other one.
Deshaun Jackson was more known as a burner, taking the top off the defense and whatnot. Devontae Smith was more of a complete wide receiver, running the whole route tree. Deshaun Jackson, then you remember when the knock on Devontae Smith coming out was that he won the did he win the Heisman or he won the
he did
yeah he won the Heisman and whatnot. And the knock on him was that he was small and how his body will last, and he's been healthy for the most part.
Still is.
Yeah. I mean, as far as running a 9 route, obviously D-Jax because the burners, right? But the better route runner, Devontae.
All right. So let's move on to our Gauntlet Grinders, Jay.
All right. So our Gauntlet Grinders for week 18 of NFL action. I know that there's been some teams sitting some starters, but someone around this league went on and performed well enough to gain the aspirations of the Gauntlet crew. Which order did you have it in, James?
Whatever you guys want to do. I don't have any Gauntlet Grinders, so you can skip me, but whoever wants to start us off.
I guess I'll do it. All right. So my NFC Gauntlet Grinder.
Hold on. Start with your AFC, please.
Oh, the AFC. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hold on one second. Going back. AFC Gauntlet Grinder is in quite possibly his final game as a Jet and possibly of his career. I have got Mr. Aaron Rodgers for one day only. He looked like Green. Yeah, he looked like Green Bay Aaron Rodgers. 23 of 36 for 274, 4 touchdowns. He did throw 1 pick. He had a 112.5 passer rating, average 7.6 yards per attempt. He definitely dialed back the clock on this one. And if this is his final game of his career, then hell, I would say what a way to go out. And then my NFC Gauntlet Grinder is a guy who has turned the corner in the second half of the season, despite the time, the team that he's on, and that is quarterback Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers. Overtime win 44-38, costing Atlanta the division. He was 25 of 34 for 251, 3 touchdown passes, no picks. Wasn't even sacked. 123.5 passer rating, average 7.4 yards per attempt. He also added another 5 carries for 24 yards and 2 touchdown runs, so 5 total touchdowns. So with that being said, Bryce Young most definitely looked way better. This is the best that I'd ever seen him all season. I mean, 5 total touchdowns. You had nothing to play for, but you could play spoiler, and that's exactly what you did. You beat Atlanta, helped the Bucs into the postseason. So hats off to both those brothers. Dom, did you have any?
Yeah. How you got him queued up, James? AFC, NFC?
NFC first.
NFC. Pressed into action, a slot corner by trade, forced to play the outside when Carlton Davis broke his jaw. Playing outside against Minnesota. The numbers don't look that impressive. 5 tackles, 1 pass breakup. He did, however, hold Justin Jefferson to 3 catches on 9 targets and 54 yards. Almost had a pick. He's been an absolute revelation and really like a saver of our defense. Shocking. The dude's 5'9". They did, however, they went to high school together, college together. So Meek Robertson, very familiar with Justin Jefferson.
AFC?
I can't believe I'm saying this because I didn't think this dude could catch even 7 or 8 passes in a game. But Quentin Johnston, 13 catches, 189 yards. The Chargers are in the playoffs. And, he stepped it up. Herbert's been good. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh was a great coaching hire. They're running the ball. Defense is great. And, happy for the dude.
All right. And with that being said, I don't know where JJ is, but there he is.
Right here, buddy.
All right, JJ, did you have a Gauntlet Grinder for Week 18?
I don't know if you had. Yeah, of course. Yes, absolutely. Which one do you want me to start with, AFC or NFC?
AFC.
AFC.
Glad that you did that. Thank you. Yes, I want to shout out a young man whose birthday was on the Saturday that his team clinched the division, and he was the driving force for it, Mr. One, Derrick Henry, who also is now welcoming his 3rd child coming into the world. His wife just announced that they're pregnant again. So he's just having a whirlwind of moments. And this is why he came here, for playoff football, winning a division, and he balled out. He balled out. I will say before we get into the my guy,
it's technically his 4th child. Don't forget about Earl Thomas.
That
What do you think? With, like 1,900 yards?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really for you, good. Yeah, I mean, okay. But I hadn't said who I was going to say in the chat, but I really want to give it to this guy because we talk about Saquon, we talk about Derek. There's another guy that actually leads the league in total touchdowns and had over 2,100 scrimmage yards, and nothing changed from last week. Dom, you know it. This guy, Jahmyr Gibbs, is the real deal. This guy is arguably already a top 5 back because if you look at the year he had,
Better
in the
than
game that
Bijan,
he
is he
had
not?
this last, you could argue that he should. It's crazy this year because we have Saquon and Derek, but that guy is worthy of an All-Pro just as much as they are. You know what I'm saying? And he had a great game against the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, you could say that the everything was like probably set and everything, but it's still against the 14-2 Minnesota Vikings. And so I will have to sit here and give it to Jahmyr Gibbs because when I saw that, I was like, I always knew, and I've been saying this for the longest time. I said, Jahmyr Gibbs is the most dynamic player on that offense, and he proved it yet again this weekend. So I'm gonna give it to Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs right here because that
Thank you,
man is
JJ.
that man's phenomenal.
Oh, by the way, Bacon Grizzler, no, that's confirmed. Josh Norman is his kid too, so that's kid number 5. Because they might have taken the playback, but you can't take back the moment. With that being said, Kendall, who you got? Gauntlet Grinder.
My Gauntlet Grinder, it hurts me to say, but we messed around. We won the freaking game. We could have had a number 1 overall freaking pick. Now we're picking 4th. I think we're still gonna get a good player, but what's more? Joe Milton, 241 yards, 114 passer rate, and 2 touchdowns and whatnot. No sacks, no turnovers. Most importantly, look real good against the Bills. Second and third string. That's gonna be working at Amazon and Walmart here soon. But still, I understand it. Not to slight them. I understand that good game for Joe Milton because I'm a Patriots and Patriots are created. I cover the team for the website and whatnot. But from where he came from training camp to now, and keep in mind he was a 7th-round draft pick. Terrible footwork. He was struggling in camp or whatnot. So the fact for him to play as good as he did against, I don't care who the Buffalo put out there. The fact he played that well, man, come on, man. I wish he didn't play that good because I wanted that pick. But I wanted that pick for real, man. But it is what it is, man. Joe Milton, hats off to him, man. And I think we got, like Robert Kraft said, I think we got 2 quarterbacks. So somebody want to
I would
call us
love to
for
see Joe Milton get a crack at a starting job.
That's what I was gonna say. Somebody want to send us a draft pick for Joe Milton. Hey,
Maybe Cleveland with the Deshaun Watson situation.
right.
Maybe so. Yeah, absolutely. Joe Milton, it's crazy. I almost picked Joe Milton, but I was like, you know what? If Ken, I'm gonna leave it alone in case Ken was coming on the show because he might say him. So I went on ahead and I was like, nah, I'm gonna let him get it. But no,
Hey,
Joe
somebody
Milton,
get crazy and send us a 2nd-round pick.
somebody
They're
might be
desperate enough.
somebody might be dumb enough to send you a first. I mean, we've seen crazier things as far as
Joe Milton is worth more than JJ McCarthy in a trade right now.
probably so.
The Eagles got a 1st-round pick for Sam Bradford and Carson Wentz. Just saying.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, there you go.
Never say never.
Well, with that being said, when we come back, it's going to be everyone's favorite recurring segment, and that is Sports Moron of the Week. Stay tuned.
I want to give a special shout out to Kirk, who is responsible for the Sports Moron video. That was the reaction of me and John when he said that Jalen Carter was a reach. Jalen Carter with his first team All-Pro nod this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said,
thank you, Kirk.
Can I go first? Can I pretty please go first?
Yes, sir.
Can you please put this red and yellow jackass on the screen? Yeah, those were boos raining down on Mr. Hulk Hogan, my Sports Moron of the Week, at the Inuit Dome in Inglewood, California, on the Raw debut on Netflix. let me tell you something. And to those out there, because I think Dom, you said you watched it too, the McMahon documentary on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the world was finally exposed in full to what type of man this dude really is. Keep in mind, this was a dude who went and ratted to McMahon way back in the day that the wrestlers were trying to unionize so that they could get taken care of. It's because of this man to this day that Bacon, I know you know what I'm talking about, brother. It's because of this man that to this day, whenever wrestlers are done wrestling, they can't get taken care of. They have nothing. They have no pension, no health care, no nothing. This fool, this racist fool, semi or full-blown racist, however you want to call it, this dude was so much of a selfish prick that he went and ratted to McMahon that the rest was trying to unionize, and McMahon came out there and said, whoever's trying to unionize, y'all are going to get fired. Savage tried to warn everybody about McMahon. It was Jesse the Body Ventura he ratted on in the first place. And then, on top of that, Hogan tried to act like he was down with the idea, and all the while he was that snake in the back. He has snaked so many people in the back. He stepped on so many toes, and now he's getting this just due. Hulk Hogan, Sports Moron of the Week. James, who you got?
Karma is a bitch. So that's all I have to say about that
It's
situation.
not going to work for me, brother.
But listen, man, I think I already shouted out Chris Broussard in the past. But this guy is just so dumb with his takes. I'm going to show a short clip, and then I'm going to give more of my thoughts.
I think Green Bay is going to win this game. But Philly, look, regardless of what the reports were about yesterday, Jalen Hurts hasn't played in a month. And I would think he's not a great passer when he's in rhythm. And so, as far as, over the course of a season. So I think he's going to be rusty. And Green Bay's playing with house money. Nobody expects them to win. They're still the youngest team in the playoffs, youngest team in the league. So they're coming out there free. And A.J. Brown, is he going to be chirping? We talked about this yesterday. Is he going to be chirping to Jalen to get him the ball? So I just think that Green Bay, I feel good about their chances of winning this.
Everything he just said is just a bunch of nonsense from start to finish. The whole Jalen thing with being rusty. You saw it the last time the Eagles actually went to the Super Bowl. Jalen missed the last couple games of the season, came out, had no problems. Secondly, the same narratives about Jalen Hurts being a liability, Jalen Hurts holding the Eagles back. How many games does this guy have to win to show that he's not a liability? I swear the media talks about Jalen the way that people talk about Ben Simmons. Well, Ben Simmons can't shoot, so ultimately the Sixers are never going to win. They talk about Jalen Hurts in the same way, despite everything he has done. And since he's been the starter of the Eagles, has not missed the playoffs. He's won a lot of football games, played some really good ball. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. And then the last part just kills me. With the whole A.J. Brown thing. It's always A.J. Brown, always going to be yelling at Jalen Hurts. He wants the ball. He wants this. He wants that. You saw what happened in the last game. Well, the game before Jalen got hurt. The passing offense was humming. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts had that connection. They've always had that connection since A.J. came from Tennessee. So this is just a blatant display of a guy that does not educate himself on anything that he's talking about, and he just gets in front of the camera and spews nonsense. So Chris Broussard, Sports Moron of the Week.
Jay, can I say something? Let me say something real quick. Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, JJ.
So, essentially, I will say this, James Tatum. There's a saying that I'm pretty sure everybody's heard, is that you could do a million things right, but if you do one thing wrong, that's all they remember. And I like my boy Kendall, but I'm going to throw it to him on this one a little bit, because when we get into it about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Ravens, people hold on to one moment for no matter what happens with anything else. Like in that example is this one. Whatever happened with Jalen Hurts and the media's eyes, whatever moment that is, they'll forget about anything the guy does everywhere because they hang on to that one moment. If you can't beat a team, but if you beat them once out of 6 tries or something, they'll always hold on to that moment. If you had back and forth issues with A.J. Brown, you're always going to hold on to that moment. Unfortunately, I do agree that is a good call out because logically speaking, and it doesn't actually make sense. One moment that has happened does not mean for the rest of life because, again, it goes back to what I always say. When someone has an opinion that they agree with, they're going to hold on to that. If this was Joe Burrow, he wouldn't even say any of that because he likes Joe Burrow. He unfortunately doesn't like Jalen Hurts, so he's going to be more critical on him, which a lot of people do with my quarterback when they talk about not being the Chiefs or having the Steelers having his number. You know, those things they hold on to because maybe they don't agree and think that player is a good player. If they do, then they would sit there and know, you know what? Yeah, he has struggled with that point. Jalen has had those woes. But you know what? Anybody can grow. Anybody can overcome. Let's give him that chance. But most people have a hard time being objective. They have a hard time realizing that their opinion is one thing, but the opposite of it could be true.
Chris Broussard is merely the peanut butter skinned version of Stephen A. Smith. Like, I really, at this point, I don't want to hear anything else that Broussard or Stephen A. Smith has to say about the NFL
It
because
has
they
to be
clearly don't
basketball
know
with
anything about it.
it's basketball with them. You just only can talk to them about basketball.
Yeah. Dom, did you have a Sports Moron, man?
Yeah, James, you got the clip?
I got the graphic.
Oh, the list? Put it up. What more needs to be said about that? What are they doing? What is this? American Idol? Who
There's a
are
guy
half
that's
these?
not actually on there though. There's the coach of Iowa State or something is also
Oh
being
no, I
interviewed.
like that guy. What's his name? Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
I like that guy. The rest of these guys, it's a legion of whom. I mean, I'm not surprised. They're not going to attract any coaches with, a previous resume, and then the rest of these guys, it's just leftover. Like
You
Vrabel's
said
not taking that job.
You said American
Thomas
Idol.
Brown, who's that? Petzing, I've heard of him. Ben Johnson, no. Aaron Glenn, no. Anthony Weaver, who's that?
He came
Vance
from the
Joseph,
Ravens. He was our linebacker coach, and he became DC at Miami.
Mike McCarthy's staying in Dallas. Flores doesn't want that job. Arthur Smith, Mike Kafka, isn't that
He was a
some sort of isn't that
he was a
Arabic meatloaf?
he
Kafka.
was I think he was a quarterback out of Northwestern. I think he was just playing at Northwestern like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's a
Listen.
clown.
He's
show.
reaching now. Like
It's a
Sometimes you
clown
have to
show
go
in
for the
Chicago.
volume.
I've said it before. I'll say it
Sometimes you have to
again.
go
The
for the
Chicago
volume.
Bears are currently the 2000 to 2020 Lions. The owners are
Basically, if they
clowns.
don't get Ben Johnson, they're screwed.
Even if they do,
You just stay away from Mr. Todd Monk, and I want him to stay some more years. You just stay away from Todd Monk.
he doesn't want that job either.
JJ, did you have a Sports Moron?
I have a call out, and I'm just gonna say it because my barber and I were talking about it. Just give the man Josh Allen the MVP because y'all arguments for and against this stuff just drives me crazy. It makes no sense, and it's just like oh my gosh, give him the MVP, please, because this is so ridiculous. The biggest folly that I'm going to call out about the media is that no Baltimore Raven player of like Lamar Jackson cares about winning a damn MVP
Regular season
trophy.
awards.
There's only one MVP he cares about, and that is the only thing he's focusing on. Josh Allen's fans need this MVP more than anything. And if you want to bring up last year, again, the total touchdowns and interception ratio is what does quarterbacks in a lot of times for this award. Yes, Lamar had 24 touchdowns, but he had only 7 picks. Josh had 30 and then had 18 interceptions, or like 17 or 16. Lamar this year he had 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and again, I'm not going to let you discredit his teammates to make your argument for him because James Cook is a really good running back. Dalton Kincaid was the next, like Sam Laporta coming in. Now all of a sudden, he ain't nobody to nobody. Dawson Knox, throughout the first 3 years when he was taped with Davis and Stephon Diggs, was like, yo, that's a sneaky tight end. That's everything.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman, that's the steal of the draft. Just admit you don't like the fact that the guy that you think is better than this guy has a worse resume this season than that guy and could lose out on an award that would honor that. Let's just call it what it is, and I will keep saying this. Josh Allen's not better than Lamar. That's pretty much what it is, because every year they've had the similar seasons, Lamar's impact has been a little bit more. And again, my barber made a great point. We talk about head to head. He basically is getting the hold on the fact that he beat Mahomes. Yes, bump that he got butt whooped by that dang Baltimore. He beat Mahomes. That's everything. So if he beat Mahomes and he gets the MVP, but Lamar beats him, he don't get MVP. Okay, again, y'all drive me crazy with this.
Regular
Just
season
admit,
awards.
right?
Let's tell the honest.
I would rather people just sit here and just keep it real. Just stay on that train. Just stay on that negative train. Stop trying to be nice to have everybody like your opinion by saying to give this dude props. Because deep down, there are a lot of bunch of backhanded compliments. Just come out and say it. Don't circumvent everything. Just come out and say you don't like the guy. And you can't stand the fact that he is doing something that none of y'all thought he did. If we pull the tape of everybody's opinion from this guy from the first year, second year, all y'all be hypocrites. All y'all would be hypocrites.
James,
Joe Burrow had an objectively better season than Josh Allen, by the way.
Objectively, but all of you just hypocrites. Just admit, you don't think he's that good, so that's why you don't think he could win in the playoffs. But yet, you'll give everybody else credit. And I don't care. You can play semantics all you want. He does have to perform in the game. But if your name ain't Patrick Mahomes, you failed too. Why is the failure for him only important? You failed too. Josh Allen can't get past anybody, so why does we keep talking about what Lamar can't do when Lamar has done a little bit something? And yes, he's 2-4 in the postseason, but he lost 2 wild card games to start off. He won a wild card game and went to the divisional round and lost that one. Then he got to the one divisional round, got to the AFC Championship game and lost that one. Last time I checked, you keep getting closer. I don't care about the losses because eventually you're going to get there.
It's crazy somehow that playoff performances factor into a regular season award when it's a regular season award.
And it's because it's critics who don't want to just sit there and say, yes, he proved me wrong. He had a great year this year, because that's their last defense.
It's a bullshit award. It's a bullshit award.
So help y'all if this guy goes and wins and has a great postseason, because you have nothing you can say.
It's a bullshit award anyway.
And stick to saying that, you know what?
I mean, I would give it to
Joe Burrow. It's a bullshit award anyway, because it's not really the MVP. It's not the most valuable player. It's the best quarterback award. That's what it is. So
now to your point,
the players that are actually making the most impact are not even being considered for the MVP.
James, to your point, I agree with you 1,000%. And this goes to expose why fans in sports media are hypocrites. When you tell everybody in the world the quarterback's the most important position in the game, they should get the most money, it effectively negates someone like Saquon. So don't cry for them now because you're saying it's a QB award, but yet everybody tells the whole world the quarterback's the most important position. Hypocrites, pick and choose. What you gonna do? I mean, come on. Like, you can't just be... If the fans just admit that they can be hypocritical with their opinion, these guys would get a lot more credit. Saquon would have a chance to win a freaking MVP. Yeah. But fans are hypocritical. They are. They all are. And I can expose every single one of them. And I will if we win this Super Bowl. Every single person about Lamar, I'm pulling all y'all receipts.
No, absolutely. And Ken, who you got for Sports Moron, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Las Vegas Raiders for having the audacity to have Antonio Pierce go up there and do his press conference on Tuesday, I believe. And then he told, I listened to the press conference. He said he hadn't been told anything, whether if he was going to be fired or not. But he said he was going on his plans. So he was actually addressing the media as if he was getting prepared for a 2025 season. And a few hours later, I believe they fired him or whatnot. So that was crazy to me. And then they fired him. And then they fired the GM a few days after that. So I'm like, it was just a odd situation. He didn't even know. He said he hadn't even heard anything whether he'll be back or not. So we see Brady is running things over there, whatnot. So now the Raiders are doing a clean swipe. They're looking at GM and the head coach, but they were just crazy, man.
The Raiders are also still paying Josh McDaniels and John Gruden and now Antonio Pierce. So
crazy.
They're going to be paying 4 coaches at the start of the season. So
if we're at least temporarily retiring Chargers going to Charger, Raiders going Raider.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Hey, and you know what? I mean, you can keep both at one unless we're retiring charges. We're going to charge it. But when we come back, we'll be bringing you the main topic of the show, and that is, well, what else but the NFL playoffs? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Playoffs. Playoffs.
Somebody talking about playoffs?
Yes, yes. We talk about playoffs because that
Not the
time
game.
is now. NFL Wild Card Weekend. So as we go across the schedule, starting tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern, the Chargers are in my city to play the Texans, and then later on that night is the rubber match of the NFC North, excuse me, AFC North, where the Steelers will travel to Baltimore. Sunday, we've got a 3-game slate. Denver is going to travel to Buffalo, and then that's a 1 p.m. Eastern game. At 4:30 p.m. Eastern is the rematch of Week 1, Green Bay traveling to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. And then on Sunday Night Football, the Washington Commanders, back in the postseason, they go up and see Baker Mayfield and company at Tampa Bay. And then
The Bay Boat.
Monday, and the game has actually just been moved to Glendale, Arizona, due to the LA wildfires. But the Minnesota Vikings are going to face the LA Rams. Vikings are actually a 1-point road favorite. So we're going to go around the horn, starting with James. And your thoughts about the playoffs? What do you see happening? Who do you have winning? What are your thoughts?
All right, so I'm just going to make all my predictions. I'll start on this side of the bracket with the Texans and the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to win this game. I just don't think the Texans have played very well this season. And, Jim Harbaugh has a well-coached group, so I think they'll take that one. Going down to Baltimore, I think the Ravens handle business at home. 4 straight losses by the Steelers to end the season. Not the way you want to go into the playoffs. Steelers playing absolutely terrible football, and I just don't see how they're going to win this game. Buffalo, I think they're going to steamroll Denver at home. Josh Allen, he supposedly wants to be the MVP, and if you really want to win the Super Bowl, then you can't just come out flat against a 7-seed team at home. Absolutely not. The game has been moved from LA to Arizona due to the wildfire, so my heart goes out to everyone there. But I think the Rams are the better team. I think what we saw from Minnesota was absolutely embarrassing against the Detroit Lions. They kind of showed that this is the type of team that they are. This is the Minnesota Purple Freaks that just can't get it done when the lights are bright. So I think they'll handle their business. Tampa Bay versus Washington, I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I think that the Commanders are a little bit overrated. And I think Tampa's going to handle business. And then the Eagles and Green Bay. The Eagles, I think, are just the better team. Green Bay swept by Minnesota, swept by Detroit, lost week 1 to the Eagles. So against the better teams in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers have really struggled. Jalen Hurts is back. He's healthy, clear concussion protocol. So I think they're going to rely on the O-line, and Saquon is going to have a big game. Eagles win big at home.
All right. And so, with that being said, we'll move it on to Dom. Dom, I know your Lions are.
You guys want me? Hold on, just before you go, do you want me to leave this up, or do you want me to?
Yeah, leave it up.
Leave it up because I can see the order on the bottom of the screen. We'll move it on to Dom. Dom, I know your Lions are probably enjoying some drinks at home right after practice, knowing how Dan Campbell would do it. But who do you have winning?
They need to be resting and getting healthy.
Yeah, we needed that number 1 seed badly, not just for home field, but for a week off. Okay, I'm gonna start off on the NFC side with the Rams and the Vikings. Last I saw, and game being in Arizona aside, although this is actually going to turn into a Minnesota home game of sorts, because there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of snowbirds that spend their winters in Arizona. And the Rams, what's a Rams fan? They had 500 people at their Super Bowl parade. So give me the Rams. Last I saw, the Vikings earlier in the season, they lost to the Lions, and then they went and lost to the Rams. Washington and Tampa. Give me Washington. I don't necessarily know why. Jay Daniels doesn't really look like a rookie to me. He's road tested. He's overcome odds. He came back from a 5 turnover game and won against the Eagles, I believe.
Yep.
Correct, James?
Yeah.
Yep.
Jalen got hurt in that game, but yeah.
Yeah. Give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles. The next time Green Bay beats a team with a winning record this year will be the first time, which means it's not happening. Chargers and Houston. It's kind of a coin flip. Houston's O-line is really bad. Stroud's been on kind of a sophomore slump. I guess I'm gonna take the Chargers just because I don't know. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, that's Baltimore. Pittsburgh has been moonwalking into the playoffs yet again, scoring 14 points a game the last 3-4 games. No chance in hell. And Buffalo as well, because Denver shouldn't even be in the playoffs.
All right. And with that being said, we're swinging on over to JJ. JJ, who do you have winning this weekend?
So I'm going to start over in the NFC as well, because I do believe playoff football is two things that always come into play: good defense and being able to run the football. Both of these teams do it, but I do think I'm going to give the edge to the Rams. I do like that. I like what they've done. I do like that they have a pretty decent team going on. And I like Minnesota, but I just think that the Rams are going to show a little bit more grit to get this done. Tampa Bay and Washington, I do think they've had a spectacular season. It has been phenomenal. It's been one that they didn't expect. But I do expect Tampa Bay to win this game and beat Washington. And I think Washington will be happy the fact that they made it this far, because now from here on out, people aren't just going to look at them as a place of purgatory, which has been the theme for Washington for a many long time. Anytime they've gotten to the postseason, they've always been the team that was going to lose. This time, it's possibly they could win, but I'm going to go with Tampa Bay on this one. The bottom one, I have said all season, I think Green Bay, I had said Philadelphia is my NFC representation for the Super Bowl, and I don't see any reason why I'm going to change that. I do think Green Bay is a very good team, but I think this is the time where the teams that have a great formula, it's going to show itself. And when you have an offensive line the way that Philadelphia does, as well as a defensive line, those come into play that helps you win these games in the postseason. Now I'm going to go to the AFC side. I actually have Denver winning this game. I actually think what's going to be very interesting about this is that I love Buffalo. I do think they're great. But I think when you start to think that there's an opponent coming in that you're just going to run through, you're going to steamroll, and then that opponent has a Super Bowl winning coach who has had crazy moments.
Not to interrupt, JJ, but if Buffalo loses, do they fire McDermott?
Absolutely not. I don't think that is. I think this is obviously, if I was doing a wager, this would be the wager that would put my money up to the most, because it's probably got the highest odds. So obviously this is a long shot. But I do like the fact, oh, that's pretty interesting. That's cool. I do think that Denver's a very sneaky team right here. I'm going to go up to the next one and leave my game for last. I do think that Houston and Los Angeles Chargers, I like Houston, but I do think I'm going to give it to the Chargers as well, because, again, hardballs are not to be messed with when it comes to the postseason, especially this hardball. And I keep telling people, eventually you're going to realize that the Chargers of old, the things that they don't do, that they always do, this one guy is going to show you that is no longer a thing. When you get to the postseason, you want that coach that knows how to play and call postseason football. So I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one. And then we're going to go to this matchup, which is interesting because I hear it all the time, and our next person is going to talk about it, that because this one team has this guy's number, it's going to be like, oh, you know what? First and foremost, this is going to be a close game one way or another for a good amount of the game, because this is just how these teams go. Why did the Ravens sign Derrick Henry? Why did they bring him in? We can talk about previous playoff histories and previous matchups and everything. They didn't have Derrick Henry on that squad in any of those matchups. And all those games that they've had in those matchups where Lamar and his team lost to these Steelers in this number, Derrick Henry wasn't on there. Then we go to this season when Derrick Henry and Baltimore played them. Justin Tucker missed 3 field goals, and we missed a 2-point conversion. So while Pittsburgh won 17-15, let's not. Well, I expect fans to do this because this is how they are when it comes to Lamar Jackson's teams. Objectively speaking, who was more in control? Who was more in control of that game? And then, unfortunately, had a couple things that didn't go their way. So, and then the next matchup comes. Yes, George Pickens did not play, but that didn't stop anybody from still saying that Baltimore was going to lose to Pittsburgh that game. So why are you going to bring that up now when you sat there and it was sitting there saying that Pittsburgh was going to beat Baltimore? So no. And then what happened to them? Derrick Henry. So because of that, and what happened last year, and Lamar saying all he can think about is trying to get back to that game and do it again. He knows what's at stake with this squad. This should be Baltimore winning, and I do think Baltimore is going to win this game by more points than people are going to give it. Do I understand the 9-point spread? Absolutely. Absolutely understand the 9-point spread, because for a team that has won 4 games straight, and their quarterback has played every single one, with their defense not allowing over 20 points. This defense went from 31st to top 10 in scoring and total yardage in a span of 6 weeks. Check the numbers. In a span of 6 weeks, this Ravens defense went from a 31st ranked defense to a 10th ranked defense in scoring and total yardage. That lets me know that this team has turned the corner, and they're peaking at the right time, and I do think that they're going to take down Pittsburgh.
All right. And Ken Dog, who do you got winning this weekend?
Yeah, I got the. I feel crazy about this game, Minnesota Rams. I think Sam Darnold get it back right this week. I think the Vikings win that game. Then even with this game being in Arizona, I feel even more better about it now. I know the Rams don't have a lot of fans in LA, but I feel more about this game. I think the Vikings fans will travel to Arizona. So I got Minnesota coming out of that first NFC matchup. Washington, Tampa. Tampa did beat Washington week 1 of the season, but this is a different J. Daniels they playing right now, different Washington team. I'm still gonna go with Tampa though. Tampa at home. I don't trust that Washington commanding defense. Green Bay, and Philly. I believe. I don't know, man. This ain't. I don't feel the same as this year about Green Bay that I did last year. They went into Dallas or upset the Cowboys and at Jerry's house or whatnot. I think the Eagles will be prepared for them this time. They just lost Christian Watson, they number 1 wide receiver. They're burning. They lost him, so that's going to hurt. I like the other receivers that they do have. But I think Jordan Love is banged up a little bit. They say he's going to play, but he's banged up. Jalen Hurts just got healed. Just got from a concussion. Just got so he's good there. So he's going to play. And I just think then with Jair Alexander being out for Green Bay, that's going to hurt. They have nobody that's going to match up with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and I think this right here going to be a big Saquon Barkley game. Move on. So I got Philly. It's going to be a close one now. It's going to be a nail biter, but I'm going to go with Philly. Chargers and Texans. Texans offensive line is a mess. You got Khalil Mack and Bosa coming off the edge. Chargers defense playing good. They just signed Zeke. That the Texans run game. I do like the run game, but that Chargers defense pretty good. And the CJ Stroud kind of had like a little sophomore slump, so I don't think they're gonna be able to do much this game. I think Mack and Bosa have a big day. And then they got the Texans do have the injuries with the slot receiver Tank Dell being out, Diggs being out, and Nico Collins still working his way back from being out for most of the year. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers and that one. I'm gonna skip over the Baltimore Pittsburgh. I'm gonna come back there for my last rant or whatnot. I'm gonna go Buffalo Denver. I got a crazy feeling about this game too. I'm gonna take the Bills, but I do not feel good about it. Only reason I'm taking them because they're home, and I think they're going. And Denver is coming in with a rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. But I think the coaching edge goes to Denver in this game, so I would not be surprised. It's gonna be an upset this week. I don't know which game it's gonna be. It's gonna be between this one, this next one I'm about to talk
It's going
about.
to be the one that you're about to say next.
Yeah, but I got Denver. I got not Denver, but Buffalo. I got Buffalo, and I see a lot of people saying that Josh Allen was working with less. I actually think Allen has a lot of weapons. I mean, he got Cooper.
Agreed.
They got. I've been seeing a lot of people say that he's not working.
Coleman, James
Keon Coleman, Kincaid, Dalton Knox, Cook, like
Cade.
yeah. So I think that's kind of like a built-in excuse if Buffalo do not. I've been seeing a lot of style. Like I don't understand that. I like what I think he got some good weapons over there. Moving on to Baltimore Pittsburgh, the Steelers. has had the Ravens number. They've had Lamar number for the past few years that they played them. Since Lamar has been there, they've had the number. Now Lamar only got a couple wins there. It's always weird with this matchup because it always seems like somebody's always missing, either Lamar or somebody's always hurt in this matchup whenever they do play. Um, I'm taking Baltimore in the game, but hear me out. I'm taking Baltimore in the game. I don't feel great about it though because I can still coming off 4 straight losses. They lost to Philly. They lost to Baltimore. Was one of the losses? Philly, Baltimore. Who else did they lose to? Who the other two lost? They lost
Kansas City
to
and
Kansas City.
Cincinnati.
They lost to Cincinnati and whatnot. So they are coming off 4 straight losses. Pickens has been out, but then they did have Pickens for when they played Kansas City a couple weeks ago on Christmas or whatnot, and they had a lot of stuff going on there. I think Russell Wilson threw a pick going into the end zone, and they blamed a lot on Pickens. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. It's gonna be close. It's close. Now I did say that I got a feeling it could be an upset. I didn't say Steelers will win. I said I can see the upset though. I did say that. Let me finish. So I did say that. So I'm gonna go with the Baltimore to win in a close one. I do not feel good about it. I do not. And between this game and the Buffalo game, the one that's most likely to be an upset is going to be this game. I can definitely see Pittsburgh going into Baltimore, coming off the losses. A lot of, I'm not going to say Tomlin on the hot seat, but a lot of people calling for his job. They're coming off the losses, and I can definitely see it. I can, and in a 9-point underdogs, I can definitely see Pittsburgh winning this game. I would not be surprised. Go ahead.
So it's interesting that you were hesitant of the Texans because the injuries to Nico Collins working back, but Pickens coming back from an injury is no longer a big deal, and it's not going to be a working back thing for him. And it's still now, they have a really big feeling on this one. It's just interesting because it's like, so they lost 4 straight games, and you're saying they got to get a point. So the Ravens in that same stretch went 4-0, and against 3 playoff teams to get to the playoffs, where the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to 3 playoff teams en route, but it's like that didn't matter, and it's still part of the upset. But it's like, again, about the past, but it's like Derrick Henry wasn't on the team in the past, and the past doesn't mean that your future's the same way, because if that's the case, everyone besides Mahomes is on upset alert and is going to be able to lose. I mean, I get it. It goes to what I do think part of it is based off of if it was the quarterback. Because if it was any other quarterback that was on this squad that had the same type of season, there wouldn't be a question about that squad. But it's a question of that squad because of the quarterback that it is. Let's say if it was the quarterback that you actually thought was a polished person like Joe Burrow or something, and he had the same record against Pittsburgh that Lamar does. Coming into this game, with knowing that same thing, would you have the same opinion and say that Baltimore's an upset alert with a quarterback that, in most people's eyes, is viewed as a polished guy?
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you keep. I'll answer that and go ahead. Keep thinking. I know you got some more.
No, I'm asking. I was done.
Yeah, you sure?
I'm asking you.
So you're asking.
I'm saying is this because if this was any other quarterback that's considered elite that came in that it wasn't Lamar Jackson, would you still feel like they have be an upset alert because Pittsburgh's coming to town? Like
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The moral of the story is, make a long story short, I feel like Pittsburgh coming off 4 straight losses. They have history against Baltimore. Lamar struggles in the playoffs as well. He kind of freezes up a little bit. He even said that in his interview earlier this week. He said every time when it's a playoff game, he kind of gets a little amped up or whatnot. He didn't say the nerves get going, but he did say he kind of gets a little extra amped up or whatnot. A lot of people don't like to hear that. Bottom line, I got Pittsburgh. I got Baltimore winning, but I would not be shocked if next Friday, Lord willing, we out here talking and we talk.
If they win, will you now be like, you know what? I shouldn't have doubted them. If they win, will you own that and say, you know what? I might have been down them for a little bit more than I should have. If they win and they win strong as well, if they win and they do well, and let me ask you this. If they lose, but they lose because they had a fluke pass interference that was from the refs that got them in field goal position, is Lamar going to be held responsible for that?
No. If Baltimore wins by 10 or more points, I give you credit. Hey, I overthought it. I didn't think it
But what
right.
if they win by 7? Do they have to win by 10?
Give me 10. Because the line is 9 points. So let them win by 10 points.
So, but okay, so it's basically judged based off what a person who controls Vegas thinks.
Yeah, I
Not,
just feel like a lot of people down. I think the line is 9 points. They're damn near 10-point underdogs.
I mean, when you think about it, it makes sense. You may be the opposite of it, but again, losing 4 straight, going 4 straight, and that team has gotten better. Their defense went better, whereas the Pittsburgh Steelers offenses went different. It seems like it's based off strictly off of a pure emotional aspect. Is that they got to turn it around because no evidence, unfortunately, the evidence supports why the spread is there. The evidence supports why the spread is there, right? Because if you look at the totality, everything, the evidence support why the spread is there.
I really felt like the last game was actually closer than what the final score indicate. You take away the pick six, and then people forget
they were still down. They were still down by 2 scores.
One second.
They were down by 10.
Russell Wilson actually fumbled the ball going into the end zone or whatnot when they were driving or whatnot. So that changed the game as well.
So is a fumble not what you're supposed to do on defense? So you're proving a reason why that it's actually showing that defense can stop them even when they.
I got a feeling we're gonna be seeing a different tone.
Guys, we gotta move on. I still gotta make my picks. We still got a non-sports topic, and technically it's 5 minutes left in the show. Looks like we're going overtime. But James, can you bring the graphic up, please?
Good chat.
No, we're always good for a good chat, man. Good water cooler conversation. You know what I'm saying? They can't never turn that down. But so I'm gonna start off with the NFC on this one. I said it in the group chat. James was there. I know the rest of you weren't, but LA gonna kill Minnesota on Monday night. They gonna kill Minnesota. I'm sorry. I'm happy for Darnold for the season that he had, but it was clear that the lights were just too bright. The stage was just too big for Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Connell. You know, so I trust Stafford in the postseason. I actually was on a TikTok live with Rod Smith, one of our guys, the former cornerback, won a national title with Notre Dame, and I told him, I said I trust Stafford in the postseason over Darnold at this time period. So give me the Rams in this one. Washington and Tampa Bay. Something is telling me to take Washington, dude. I don't know what it is, but something is telling me to take Washington. But I'm gonna go with the safe pick. Baker Mayfield was the number 1 Pro Bowl snub. At least the internet said. I'm not mad at that.
Agreed.
He's paying a hell of a season. I'm gonna go with the safe pick and go with Tampa Bay. But I got that a close one. Don't be surprised that's a 3-point game. Green Bay, Philadelphia. Green Bay may actually be competitive in the first quarter, but then Philly's gonna run with it. I got Philadelphia winning by 2 scores. Denver, Buffalo. I got Buffalo winning. Bo Nix. I don't think that Bo Nix will play a terrible game. I just think that the Buffalo Bills are just that good, and I got them stampeding over Denver. Pittsburgh and Baltimore may be the closer game. This is the hated rivalry game. Like I said, it's the rubber match. You know, I've got Baltimore winning. The Pittsburgh Steelers moonwalked into the postseason, and so did my Texans, and I'll be on that in just a minute. But I've got Baltimore in this one. I know Russell Wilson's been there before, a lot more times before. I know he's been on bigger stages and everything, but I just trust the Baltimore Ravens in that run game even more. And I'm going to have to trust that Todd Monken doesn't royally fuck his team and stop running the football this time. And he goes and dances with what brought him, and that is that running game. So I got Baltimore in this one. And lastly, Chargers Texans. Of course, I'm going to be the lone wolf because the Texans are my team. Although, to be fair, if it was neutral, I probably would have picked the Chargers too. The Texans still managed to get 10 wins this season. The Texans did back into the postseason. But I mean, it's the postseason. I'm still giving them a shot. Everybody in the tournament kind of have a shot. It is what it is, you know. We've seen crazier things. I wouldn't exactly call it an upset if the Chargers win, seeing as it's the 4 seed and 5 seed. And even then, I think the Chargers are only a 3-point road fave. But Rex Ryan gave a take about the Chargers defense, and he said that the Chargers have a quote-unquote extra bye week. The only thing that I have to say against that is this. And him being a defensive guy, he should know better because the Texans have a top 10 defense as well. In fact, they rank top 5 in several categories. So the Texans are bringing just as fierce of a defense. In fact, that very well may be the reason why we win this game. I've got the Texans by 3 points. And after we come back, it is going to be our non-sports topic. Stay tuned.
Well, Jay, you ain't got to worry about Todd Monken not running the football. That's only against Kansas City.
So we got a non-sports topic. Didn't really get a chance to think about this one, but reflection. Who was? Let's see. Who? Dom, was this yours?
Yes.
Okay. You know what, Dom? Go ahead.
All right, no, that's the old one.
Oh, is it?
All right, so the non-sports topic is dinner for 5. You choose obviously yourself, but one politician, one athlete, one musician, and an actor or actress. Is that right, Dom?
Correct.
Okay. So you said
Okay.
politician, athlete, actor, and actress.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'll go first on this one. So politician. Whoo, man. And they can be dead or alive, right? Or still living.
Wait, so me?
Can it be dead or alive or?
I can't hear Jay.
Oh, you may want to.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, go.
Okay. It can be dead. Anybody dead or alive, right?
Correct.
Okay. So politician. Ooh, man. You know what? Politician. Probably JFK. Because I want to know if he knew something before that happened when it did. Because I've been watching some documentaries as of late, and I've been finding out some real foul bullshit going on. But I want to know if he had a suspicion, if he knew something, and I would ask him if he could change something about earlier that day. What would he change? So politician, and then what was the second one?
Athlete.
Athlete. Okay, politician, athlete. I'm going to go with, you know what? Out of random, I would just go with Hank Aaron. I go with Hank Aaron because this man accomplished so much. You figure when he played ball, right? This man had to fight to be the best and fight racism at the same damn time. You know what I'm saying? And I know things are a little bit better than it was back then, but I would just love to pick his brain and as far as how to handle adversity in the way that he did, and also get some good memories about playing ball as well. Actor, Denzel Washington. Come on now, I got my moniker off of him. That should be that probably is a no-brainer. And then actress, whoo man, actress.
No, you already got your actor.
Okay, who was the other one then?
Athlete,
musician.
Musician.
Oh, musician. Oh, Michael Jackson. Give me the GOAT. Big Mike. Can't nobody outdance him. Can't nobody outperform him. Give me Big Mike. All right, James, what you got, man?
So for my politician, I'm gonna say MLK.
Okay.
I'm gonna say athlete. Give me Cristiano Ronaldo for that. For my actor, I'll go with Will Smith.
Okay.
I'll go Philly Will. Then musician, I don't know. For some reason, I want to go with Kanye.
He would definitely be an interesting person to have.
He would definitely make the table more interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
All right, Dom. What about you, man?
Athlete Barry Sanders, musician Michael Jackson, politician Abraham Lincoln. He did free the slaves. And then actor, I'm going Al Pacino. Maybe Jack Nicholson, probably Al Pacino.
Huh, okay. Al Pacino. All right, and then Ken, who you got?
You can't say Tom Brady for athlete.
Actually, what you said, just about all yours I like, except for the last one or whatnot. My actor, I'm gonna go with Kevin Hart.
Why?
Funniest person on the planet, and I just feel
Are
like
you short like him too?
He's
Like
also a
obviously
Philly
y'all are
native.
both black. Are you
I'm
short
actually
like him?
tall, 6'2".
Oh, like me.
Yeah. So yes,
Alright.
and I won't go
Makes
through
even less
Tom Brady.
sense
And
now.
I like what Dom said or whatnot. That just said besides for the last one, so I go with Kevin Hart or whatnot.
Kevin Hart. Interesting pick. Okay, then. All right. And then slide it over to JJ. Who you got, man?
All right, so everything I do is lead by my just so thankful about life and my faith. So of course I would go with Malcolm X as my politician because I know he connected with his faith when he made his journey to Mecca. And while it may have cost him his life, he was a much happier person when he found it. My athlete, I would go with Tim Tebow because I am so proud of how strong he stood in his faith throughout his entire life when he was told not to
I
be.
can barely
And
hear
as
JJ.
oh, you can't hear me?
I can hear you.
How about now?
Yep.
You good?
Yeah,
So
keep
yeah,
going.
I would go with. How about you, Dom? Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I would go with Tim Tebow because I do know that sometimes when I'm trying to be proud in my faith, I often struggle. So to talk to him to see how he stands 10 firm, no matter what spotlight, I think that is absolutely amazing. Musician, it would be.
Don't say Beyonce.
He gonna say Beyonce. Queen B.
Remember, my stuff is driven. My answers are really much driven by my faith.
Mm,
So I would go. I actually would go Kanye because I would love to know where his faith, where he felt to stop believe, because we can learn from each other because humans are going to have those moments. Because
right.
he did come out with Jesus Walks. He
Mm-hmm.
did come out
That
with
song is a
very,
banger too.
and
He
that
came
is,
out with Jesus is King. That a
right,
whole
and it's
album.
but the thing is, it changed with him. And yes, I know his mom played a role in it, but it's like I would just be want to know because when you go through this path of faith, you will have moments of doubt, and you will have moments that you will struggle. The devil prays at you all the time, but I would love to know what happened where he let it just take him and did not revert back. And then actor and actress, it would be Chadwick Boseman because I do know his heart. I know his story very well. Part of the reason, and I know that when he came into acting, he wanted to take on those figures like Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson. He took on that, and then he just had a spirit in him that I do believe that an angel was present in him because he only thought about anyone else. He never thought about himself. And that is who I aspire to be, where I be for my family, because if I'm for my family and my friends, you're doing what I'm doing what the Lord commands me. And so I just would love to talk to him because he's the only celebrity that I actually did cry when he passed, because it's just I just think he had such a presence about him. He never thought about himself. He only thought about, I think about the time, the reason why it got me is because I love his heart when he was on a podium and he was talking about the Black Panther movie, and he said he met this kid that was in a cancer who was really holding on to watch the movie,
You didn't
and then
cry
to
when
see
Aaliyah died? Shame on you.
and then to see him cry and could not finish the sentence because the little boy didn't make it, so he didn't get a chance to see the movie. His heart is what I wanted. I would love to have some of that onto me, the compassion, the empathy, continue to build that. So I would definitely take Chadwick Boseman.
What about your politician?
My politician, I said Malcolm X.
Oh, okay. Man, no one said Donald Trump.
Who?
I honestly would be
Hey
curious.
Dom, your TV quicker than mine, man. I saw you react. I just
Trump
seen.
is not. He's not a real politician.
He was the president, and he's the president elect again. I might almost switch out Abraham Lincoln for Donald Trump just because I'd be at a table close enough to
Yeah,
where I could swing on him.
I actually wouldn't be. I actually don't. I actually am curious. I wouldn't have any issue talking to him as well because I don't
I
personally
would
have the
swing
same
on that
amount.
motherfucker all day.
I don't really have. I don't have hate bones to anybody in my life and my body. And I don't really have a hate bone towards him.
Oh, I hate Donald Trump.
No, I
Not for
understand
anything he
that.
did as the president, for killing the USFL.
That's the reason you hate Trump.
Yep, 1000%.
And he most definitely did kill the USFL. Well,
I will tell people though, I will tell everyone, if you are a business person trying to figure out how to make it and move up, you really should watch him. You really should watch him, because that man ran this. He's run this whole election. He ran the country, and is going to run this country like a business. If you pay attention,
hell of a business.
it's a business.
yeah, but hang on. But hold on, y'all. Hold on. But Trump done screwed over so many people business wise. Then on top of that, demands in massive amounts of debt. If I'm going to aspire to be any businessman, to be honest with you, Dom, watch this. It'd be Master P. Look at what Master P done did. His entire life, ever since he been in music, the man's got freaking cereal now, man. Go figure. He actually watched clips of an interview he did recently.
I saw it the other day too.
But it does, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's like, it ain't no money in music, so I'm gonna sling these fucking oats.
Exactly, you know what I mean? And he brought up a good point, because he was like, man, I can make a cereal just as good as the Frosted Flakes. You got no problem eating Frosted Flakes. You say that's good. Now my shit come from the same factory. And if I come and hook it up with you with a discount or whatever, then why can't you support my stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're like, your cereal's got sugar in it. Motherfucker. Sugar been in cereal since cereal.
You've been eating Frosted Flakes with sugar in it for ages, since you was knee high to a frog. So what's wrong with my kid?
Yeah, I used to drink Coke with actual cocaine in it.
See, you know, yeah, but any business acumen, Master P. I mean, the man created wealth for himself. Never stepped on no toes. Never screwed nobody over. You know, that right there would be it right there. I'm not gonna say any.
Oh no! Ow!
But with that being said, that's all we got for the Gauntlet. Thanks everybody for tuning in. James, is that voting over with for the barber?
You got until the 13th. 3 more days.
Okay. Oh wow. All right. And with that being said, thanks everybody for tuning into the Gauntlet, and we will see you all next week.
Good night, Gary, Indiana.